What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another lesson. How often do you guys find a 2-5-1 major? Like this typical D-7, G7, C major, which is a 2-5-1 in the key of C major. Now today what I want to introduce is a different chord progression, but somehow related to this one, which is the backdoor progression. Now let's try to understand how it goes. First of all, let's have a look at the chords. Now this is the backdoor progression in the key of C, so the same key as the 2-5-1 that I played you before, but it clearly has some really interesting chords and elements that you wouldn't expect in this key. And if you guys stay with me till the end of this lesson, you will also learn two very interesting voicing alternatives for this backdoor progression, and also a way to turn this backdoor progression into something neo-soul. So the first chord that I played was an F-7, which essentially means I'm playing the 4 minor in the key of C major. Now don't get surprised by the use of a 4 minor in a major key, because this is a typical example of modal interchange, particularly is a chord that you find in what we address as the minor plagal cadence. Now how many times, guys, you've heard something like where essentially in the key of C, for example, you play the 1 major 7 to the 4 major 7, now 4 minor 7, here is the 4 minor 7, yeah? Which resolves on the 1 major again. Okay, so it's a typical chord progression, it's a typical modal interchange that you guys can find in really popular hits. Now, that being said, in this backdoor progression, the 4 minor 7, the F-7, is used as a fake 2 of a 2-5, okay? So 2-5, which starts from F-7, would go to B-flat-7 as the 5-7, because if this is the 2, this would be the 5, okay? Now this would be a 2-5 in the key of E-flat. 2-5-1 in the key of E-flat major, but we are not playing a 2-5-1 in the key of E-flat major. In fact, we are playing that pair of chords heading to our C major 7, which is the tonic, or the 1 major 7 in the key of C major. Okay. So this 4 minor 7, flat 7 dominant 7th, 1 major 7 almost catches you by surprise, because you wouldn't expect this to resolve here. You would expect it to resolve on the flat major 7, but equally we know from something called deceptive cadences that a dominant 7 chord can resolve one whole step higher, like this. Okay, so it's an interesting way to create a chord progression which contains two external chords, which are borrowed chords or modal interchange from the parallel minor. In the key of C minor, you guys have both the F-7 and the B-flat-7. Okay, so both chords are borrowed, they are modal interchange coming from the C minor scale, so the parallel minor. So 4 minor 7, flat 7 dominant 7, 1 major 7, but now as promised, let's learn those two voicing alternatives for these chords. Okay, so how about instead of playing an F-7, for example, we actually play an F-9, and then instead of a typical B-flat-7, we make the B-flat-7, B-flat-7, 13. We are using 9th and 13th, which are two really important chord extensions, and if you guys are not familiar with them, you can learn them all in one of my recent lessons that you will find linked in the description as always. Okay, so F-9 to B-flat 13 now. Why did I choose the 9th and the 13th to extend the chord voicing of an F-7 and a B-flat-7? Well, because when I extend the F minor to the 9th and the B-flat-7 to the 13th, I'm using the same top note, so they are sharing the same top note. The 9th of the F minor is the 13th of the B-flat-7. Okay, but there is more. If I then play a regular C major 7 like this, guess what? the top note is still G. So I'm using the same note for all of the three chords, creating an interesting voice leading movement. Okay, so this is the first alternative for these voicings. What about instead staying on a typical F-7 but then turning the B-flat 7 in a B-flat 7 sharp 11, okay? Like this. Now, why can I play this? Well, essentially because when I add that sharp 11, the note is E, and that is the major third of my C major 7. So it contains a really important common note with my resolution. Okay, so I can play this. Okay, now recapping the two alternatives, one is and the other one. You guys let me know which one you prefer, but now I also want to show you how to use the backdoor progression in a more R&B and neo-soul way on acoustic guitar, but you can also do that on the electric guitar, okay? So how about starting from that F-9, which is a flavor that we like very much in R&B, going then to a B-flat 7 just in shell voicing, which means we only use 3 notes, okay? And then apply the secondary diminished 7 chord to the B-flat 7, so replacing that with the diminished 7 chord built, for example, on the major third of that chord, which is D. Okay, and once you get that, you can obviously move it by 3 half steps, but this time I want to move it down to B diminished 7th, okay? Now, briefly guys, if you are unsure about why I can play this D diminished 7th as the upper part of a B-flat 7, particularly a B-flat 7 flat 9, check out my most recent lesson, it was a week ago, where I explained all about that diminished 7th as a replacement of a dominant 7 chord. Okay, you'll find the link in the description below, but it's very easy to find on my channel as well. Now, with that in mind, if I play my B-flat 7 in shell voicing, D diminished 7th to B diminished 7th, guess what? Then I can just play my C as a C major 9. Let's check out the neo-soul vibe here. Once more. Okay, I hope you guys like the neo-soul, the R&B and neo-soul way to use the backdoor progression. As always guys, remember that the tab, together with the full music theory explanation with chord numbers, chord diagrams and additional notes, is available on my Patreon, so you can download it on my Patreon page and get access to a ton more of resources available to my Patreons for their support. Anyways guys, please let me know if you like this backdoor progression. If you have any questions about this, leave them in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next video.